He just admired me.
Oh, damn. Okay, we're back.
But you know, the whole thing's changed. Like you used to have to sort of like we lived it for a long time. You know what I mean? We lived it, and it saved us. And now people just do it because they want to, you know, they want to be the guy or whatever. You know,
be the next guy. Pop off.
And and look, to be honest, like it's a bit like that for everybody because you know, the new rapper now followed the old rapper from tomorrow.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
KRS is still sitting there writing the hip hop Bible and stuff. You know what I mean? But it's
because it was interesting back then. It was just hustle hard TV.
Yeah, that was the only way you could do it.
It was just these like Adelaide kids who would just be spitting their story.
Yeah,
it was very rare. It was kind of just starting. No one really sounded American. It was like, wow, this is pretty raw, authentic.
Not many people liked it as well. Yeah. Like the average kid didn't like Aussie hip hop.
Lad, it was like even all that stuff, like being a lad and all that stuff, it was looked down upon most of the time, especially like you know what I mean. Now everyone says like eshays and stuff. And if I told them, do you actually know what that means? They're like, yeah, eshay. Like, no, you don't know about like the pig Latin, what it means, all that sort of stuff, all the back stuff. And it's fine. Who cares? No one cares. Like you just enjoy it. Just enjoy it.
The energy.
But like, me, I'm like an old professor. I'm like, well, you see, the lad era stuff. Yeah. But
do you know what that TN shirt would have meant back in 2009?
If you wore TNs, it meant something, man. If you saw someone with TNs, you're like, he gets those bloody. You know what I mean? Like, literally. And you're willing to die for them. Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. It wasn't just a pair of shoes. It was basically putting like a target. Yeah. It was an actual statement.
And then it started to grow. Like I remember, like in Newtown, like and stuff like that, people would start to wear them, and that was when the gap was in it. And then people used to be so salty about it. Oh, they're wearing them in Newtown. You know? And stuff like that, like different areas that started to branch out. But
even I see them now, like you see Drake wearing them. Mm-hmm. You see kind of like celebrities wear them. You see they're just like a part of kind of streetwear and fashion. And it's
completely gone now.
Yeah. Even I don't know if there was such a big thing in like the UK, but I know people like the Chicken Connoisseur. It was like, oh yeah, that's my favourite shoes.
That's the one.
And
it never was like that in.
It probably never was. No. Yeah.
It's definitely just an Australian. For some reason, TNs became this
huge thing. Huge thing.
Yeah.
How was it for you growing up with the actual TN?
I always see even TNs. Like, I saw them in such a way. You know what I mean? I'm like, so I used to stick with the very plain looking Air Max.
Asics? Oh no, Air Max.
Air Max was
Air Max 95.
I think it's 95. Not 97's one that looks a bit like a snail. The one that's like,
that's the snail one. The 95s look old school.
Yeah, the one that Eminem used to always wear those ones as well. That's the one.
Okay.
Or maybe I got it wrong.
That might be. I think that might be 95.
95s always get it mixed up.
Yeah, 95s look really old school.
Yeah.
The 97s look kind of quite new and modern.
Yeah. But that's...
So you would do the 95s. Did you ever sport a pair of TNs in your career?
No, I never in my whole existence. Never TN'd it. No.
Never TN'd it.
And that's the thing as well, like my cousin, he was always like, he's a lot older than me. When I was into all that stuff, he used to just look down at it because there was a lot of era that thought lads were just like this guy. You know, they hated him. You know what I mean? Like they were tough blokes as well, but they just hated lads. You know.
Yeah, of course.
No good, you know. So then sometimes it'll be embarrassing or shit. You know? Your cousin's grown up to be an ass shit. What's happening?
So you basically would have been classified as a lad.
I don't know.
Growing up.
You probably saw what I was wearing on Hustle Hard TV. That's what I was doing. I was getting around. But the thing is, well, bro, like even when I went to high school.
Which high school?
I went to Pinning Point High School for a bit, and I didn't even like. Everyone was wearing like Air Forces and stuff like that, and I remember. My dad took me to the shops. So I got like this rip-off pair. They were called, the brand was like 1998. It just sort of looked like an Air. So I didn't even have it. My first Air Max shoe was a fake one too. One of the ones you get them from like Thailand or something cheaper online.
Yeah.
So and it was really weird because when I finally got the money to wear the real brand and stuff I was sort of over it. Or when I got it, I was like, oh, is this what it is? You know, because I used to like put up in high esteem.
And you finally put the shoes on and you're like, they just feel like kind of any other...
Yeah, any other shoe.
Oh, maybe there's a bit of part like, because I wear TNs and stuff like that in more of like a fashion sense.
Yeah, well it is.
Because I think they're like the best looking shoe.
Yeah, good look.
They're the best looking Nike shoe that I've seen.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I love how he says that. He's got a TN shirt on.
And he's got the
shirt's
fresh. The shoes are great.
They're fresh. I wouldn't say they're the best.
I think they may be the best Nike shoe just to wear.
So good.
But I know when I first put them on, I was like, okay, these.
Yeah, you go, it's a different lifestyle.
There's a lot of it's a different lifestyle.
It's when you get your first mullet, like when I had my first mullet.
I remember getting my first mullet.
I remember getting my first mullet.
Freedom.
Yeah, it's all about freedom.
Yeah, it is, man. Hey.
I remember getting my first pair of Nike shoes.
Yeah, yes.
I would have been probably in year 7 or year 8. My first pair of Nikes.
Yeah, real Nike.
And I think they were kind of camouflage, sort of low top Nikes. And I wore them around the house. I don't think I really took them off. I used to stare at them.
Fresh.
I used to stare at them. I walked into school for the first time on the Mufti Day, wearing the Nikes.
You knew people from those
from the bus stop, staring. I was just.
You have to pay the name. You're good.
I walked in and it was just like eyes all on me. It was just like, what's going on here? Where did you get those from?
People were reacting like that.
I felt like $1 million.
Yeah.
I felt like an absolute king, and I was staring at them myself because they had like this little like holographic thing where it was kind of
a bit of shine.
a bit of shine. So I would walk, and when the sun was shining on them, I could just kind of see this reflection,
glimmering like diamonds.
Yeah, and that's how it felt.
Yeah.
And I'd heard about Nike shoes for such a long time, and I think I only ever had we're talking about maybe like Payless sort of shoes, real cheap, no name brand shoes.
Now, because like I see kids and they come to basketball, right? They have like the Kevin Durant shoes. They have the whatever basketball team they're into, like decked out, and then sometimes each week it's a different jersey.
Oh my gosh!
And that's like, come on, like I think I had one Dragons jersey, and that's because we went to every game.
Yeah. Oh, you did? I never got the jersey. I got the maybe the Big W or one of those stores, the fake ones.
Yeah, it wasn't.
You got the. Oh, you didn't get the.
Yeah.
I didn't come on.
It was just like one with the V and the little tag. I
think the
real one's expensive.
Oh, you go to Rebel Sport, it was like $150. You go to Big W or wherever it was. I was getting a bit scared there. I was like, $50 on a jersey. I had the Manly Sea Eagles jersey. That would have been maybe $30. Even that was just, it was the coolest thing ever. It was the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
Which is...
So I just had a question for that song, just Fast and Hard TV. How did that even work?
Okay, so this is where the story, and this is, it came from, so I started making the music or whatever.
So you're just in your room.
Yeah, well, no, the first song I made, I was fresh in high school, like year 7, and I stopped going to church about 12, 13, and there was a guy I used to go to church with called Geordie Mac, and then he liked to be called different names.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's like, oh, do you like rap music? I always liked rap music. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, he was in a Screamo band. He's heavy metal, but he made rap music as well. I was like, why don't you just do more rap? Because I heavy metal. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
I like heavy metal now. Okay, that's okay. No qualms. But
especially in year 7, it was weird kid music.
Let's do more rap or whatever. And he's like, oh, he's like, because he was older. He's like, come make a track with me. I'll come make a track. So he actually came over, shouted me a cheeseburger. I made my first song. I was like, what the hell? Wow. And then around year 7,
had you rapped before?
Nah, never.
You just
he just showed me how it was done.
You'd listen to some 50 Cent, some Eminem, and you were like,
I was up early watching Rage FM. I'm a too fresh seats. And then next thing I know, in year 7, I think we had the iPod Touch came out, and the iPod Touch, the iPod Touch had a recording mic in it, and I put a YouTube beat on, and I put it on, and everybody heard it at school. I put it on YouTube, everyone heard it, and I was like full shouting out Picking Point, which I live, shout out to Picking Point where I live. And then people were like, oh, so people were hearing, a lot of people were hearing it, because like no one really sort of did it much. You know, like I racked up a lot of views, and then a lot of people, like when I mean a lot of views, but probably about 500.
That's still
back in the day.
For the first one as well. But anyway, but people like half liked it and half gave me shit.
Of course.
Like people came up to me, people would tease me. Some people were like, oh, it's actually really good.
That's how it was with rapping.
But then in my mind, I was like, I wanted to like prove everybody wrong. So that's when the journey began. And then my friend died. He passed away the friend that I was talking about.
Let you record.
The one that I made my first song with, yeah. And it was a symbolic moment. I was probably about 15 when that happened, and I was going to a behaviour school in Darwich Hill. So my dad would drive me to Revesby station in the morning. I'd catch Bankstown station. I'd catch the train over, and it was weird. Eminem Infinite, the real old song that he made, that was playing, and there was a rainbow in the sky. And my dad's like, "I'm gonna have to tell you, your friend's passed away." And I was like, "Shit." And the song was on. Damn, it's getting me in the feels, bro.
It's getting you in the feels. Of course it would be.
Yeah, and the song came on, and I was like, I wanna keep on going and make a song for him. You know, it's crazy, man. Because that's why I started. And then around at age 15, I was watching Hustle Hard TV, obviously. And I messaged my friend, good friend, Cone Piece. He was on
Cone Piece. We're about to get Cone Piece in the studio soon, but shall we? Literally about to get Cone Piece. Cone Piece is about to come to the studio.
One of the best. Brother. No, he's not my brother, but my brother. You know what I mean? And I hit him up Facebook style, just like, "Hey, bro, like your music." And he's like, "Yeah, sweet." And he's like, let's kick back or whatever. So I met him at in Bankstown in front of the McDonald's there, and we just kicked the free together. I think he went to get some smokes or something, and we went to kick the free together there. And then he had the connection with Malik, and he's like, I can get you on Hustle Hard, and we started making songs together or whatever. Right. And then next thing I know, I was there. He used to live in Carramar, Gunster. And there was lots of stray cats on the street, but I just remember there was a lot of cats.
Wow.
yeah. Anyway, and I was there, and then I did that thing, and if you remember in the song, it says "I love you, Snow J. I'm really sorry about your death. I wish I could prevent it, but I can't. Now there's nothing left." And that was about my friend. That was about my friend who died. Yeah. So I was on there, and I was going through some stuff back then. Yeah, but that was about him, and that's how it all started. That's how I got on Hustle Hard, and then I got to do it again because I did the first one. It's alright. The second one, and then me and Colin did our own thing.
How big was the track?
Pardon?
The first Hustle Hard track. How many views was it getting?
I don't know, a few thousand. But the big thing was, it was for me. I think I was the youngest on Hustle Hard at the time, because it was cursing that they were older. They were over 20 at least.
Yeah.
So I think I was the youngest person. I don't know if I'm the youngest person of all time. But back then it was Hustle Hard was everything in rap. So to be on there and I used to curse and stuff. One time he commented on one of my tracks I put, because that was when you used to post your songs on Curse's wall, hoping that he'd hear it. Do you know what I mean? And he commented, he goes, "I like this, bruz, how old are you?" And I wasn't on Facebook at the time. Gosh. And everyone was blowing me up. They're like, "Oh, Curse replies to me." And I was like, "What?" And then I looked at it and I'm like, "Oh, crap." And then I replied, nothing came from that or whatever. But yeah, it was. You got the
Curse cosign, which is basically the Drake of Australia. It's the biggest man in the world.
Because I remember when he was doing it, I'm like, he's so good. I'm like, and I'm like, he's from, he's a bloke from Campbelltown. You know what I mean? If he can do it, I can do it as well. You know what I mean? And not because he's from Campbell, but you know what I mean? He was just roughing it harder than me, whatever. And he's still going out there doing it. So I thought,
because that first song was I feel that was the first. I don't know what to call it, a sad boy.
Yeah, it was very
Aussie rap.
You may have been a pioneer of the sad boy genre. You're a pioneer of the genre in a way.
It was a bit emo, bro. It
was definitely the first Australian, because I guess Husky took that to the next level.
Yeah.
When he kind of started popping off.
Yeah, because he do sad stuff, yeah. And that was, I guess that's just how it felt, eh?
It's real. It's
and it was real. It was real. It's this isn't some flex about this and that and how good I am or whatever. It was just this is it. This is my emotions in a song.
And even if we were talking about fashion clothes before, I was wearing my mate's jumper because I didn't have anything cool around the So Colin let me have the jumper. I wore the jumper, and I think even the jumper wasn't very prestigious either. This is Fred jumper. I can't remember it really much now, but it's just it was cool stuff.
It's real.
Yeah.
It adds to kind of the legitimacy in a way. Where it's I didn't have a jumper, my friend's jumper, talking about a real thing. I'm the youngest kid.
Yeah.
I'm sad. I'm genuinely sad.
And it's hard because, not hard, but sometimes I can be a bit of a hipster about it because I think I saw a lot of it, but I think I can't. Because if I got to choose, say I was Drifter or Husky, I think I'd still choose myself purely, and obviously he's doing really well. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know much about him, but the thing I liked was that it saved us who were involved. It saved Cone Piece, saved him, saved me, saved my mate Josh, saved Lucas a bit as well, because the times where you were in the studio making music together, you weren't up doing stupid stuff, you know what I mean? So it kept us together as family and friends, you know what I mean? Like, kept us there. So, and that's what the difference between sort of hip hop and rap is. You know what I mean? Definitely. Rap, you go and you flex, you do stuff, but hip hop was about like
soulful.
Yeah, and even the origins of soulful stuff. You look at like Public Enemy and KRS-One, all those pioneers. They were about uplifting the people around them, and then you notice when it really started to pop off with NWA and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff was making people seem lesser than themselves, or encouraging people to do crime or be gangster and stuff like that. Where the other ones were like, be free, be yourself, express yourself. So I'm more on that side than the other side. So I'm probably rambling on too much.
No, this is absolutely amazing. Do you know what I mean? I'm literally going out of my way to make sure we're getting all this down, because this is real gold. It's coming from a real place as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is literally what it's about.
Yeah. And I think all of us who do it, it's about expression. You do your art, you know, you do music, you do many things. It's your soul, each piece, bro, you know.
So what would you say about the Australian hip hop scene now?
I think it's like it's I think it's really good. Like, it is. You can't, but I think it's how do I even say it?
This is something a little bit spiritual with the sun coming in right now. It's never done this before.
Shedding light on me.
I know.
Oh yeah, it's right on you too, bro.
Do you know what I mean? I think
No, you got something to say, bro.
No, I think it's coming in on you, husband.
My name means light. Luke means light. So
does it?
It's coming.
This is getting a bit scary.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary.
Later on in the conversation, we are going to talk about Christianity versus atheism. I feel this conversation is going to make it religious a little bit.
We've got the referee in the middle.
I've got the referee to break this one up if it gets a little bit too physical.
Freaking hell, what was the question again? The last question.
Oh yeah, how's rap
now?
Yeah, Australian music scene.
It's I think it's really good. I think you hear the stuff and you're like, wow, it's amazing. The only thing I will say, and it's controversial, but it's also hypocritical for me to say. Sometimes I don't like for example, we used to listen to like all the Cursor, Hustle Hard stuff, and it was all about, you know, like rates, being a lad and rates exactly, Hijack, all those big names, and that was all about, you know, being a lad and doing all that stuff. But I think now some of the music gets like, I think about who's listening to it and how is it going to make them feel.
Influence them.
Yeah, how it's going to influence them. I feel like we don't, it's all cool to want to be like America and want to be like UK. It's very cool, but we're not like that. And I think everybody wants to be like that, and I think eventually we will become like that, because like Australia's going to get bigger, Sydney's going to become more popular, more people, more madness, cram them in, make them fight. You know, that's just what happens. They've done, you know what I mean? You put all the mouse in the little house.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
It's going to go down. So I think sometimes I get worried about some of the stuff that I hear, especially some of the drill stuff.
It's crazy.
I'm talking like a parent.
It's undeniable.
No, it's good. You have to. You're one of the OGs in the game. Was basically.
I could be wrong, but you see, 1-4 has popped off.
Yeah.
And there's so many stabbings now.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And stabbings are going crazy.
And that's rap. It's not hip hop. Yeah. I mean, it is hip hop that people made it like from what they did. That's hip hop.
Yeah.
But exactly, and that's what I had to think about. There were certain tracks I wanted to release at times, and I was like, what's my auntie going to think, or my mum going to think if I talk about women like this?
Yeah.
Are you going to feel a conscience later on if people were stabbed, maybe because they were G'd up by music? However, it's like video games, you know, like everyone plays GTA, the kids are going to call violence.
Oh, yeah.
It's everybody's choice, but influence, especially in music, I think is a bit stronger. You know what I mean? And that's why I think I grew up really liking Eminem. I could relate to it. It was a great way to, you know, vent or whatever. But at the end, I lost a bit of respect because I was like, man, this dude's still apologising to his mother. He put his mum on blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how can you know what I mean? Like, think of all our mothers. You got to respect your mum. Like, even Tupac said that. Like, he was. That's why Tupac's a tribute character. Like, at first, he's like, you know, bitches, and then he's like, love your mum. Like, come on, like, you know.
He's
fighting
his demons.
But that's how we feel. Yeah, he's fighting his demons. But I think that, especially with Eminem and stuff, it's just like you can get the fame, you can get the money, but at what price? Who's hurting, who's healing? But I bet you there's people who have listened to 1-4 and stuff, and it's changed their life for the good.
Yeah,
do you know
definitely.
What I mean? They became a rapper then, and they made the money. They it inspired them before they we're doing Olympics or something. It doesn't matter.
And that stuff still probably was happening anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. And if anything, you could say, okay, well, you just weren't seeing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now the music's been brought up and that's happening. But yeah, I just don't like people being influenced if their brain's too young to understand.
Yeah, for the kids, it's crazy.
Yeah. But of course, the production's gone up. The bars have gone up.
Yeah.
It's mad. So like, what's that song, King of the City or something like that? I don't know. It's a song as well. I think.
Is it a 1-4 song or?
I don't think so, but it's in that sort of era, that sort of sound. But yeah, I hear some of it, I'm like, you can't help but rock it. Like No Effect, all that send it. Like,
you're right.
What I loved about it was it's so
bangers,
so smart as well, because it's like, so we want rap, want hard rap. And then we want that club feel, because that's what people like, especially around there as well.
Australia, the kind of gabba, you know what I mean? He's talking about like the early hack scene that you grew up on.
So they combine the whole scene, like, it's genius, it sells, it works.
Of course, and it's true. It's real. It's not really like borrowing from a different culture. Like you do, it's not directly drill and it's not directly American influence. It's like, oh no, young Australian kids used to really love kind of like that hacking kind of like music. And they rap kind of grimy like this now, taking all the influences and it's merging everything together to create something new.
Yeah.
I feel like right now though, there's kind of nothing new that's really popping. Maybe I'm not watching enough.
Yeah.
But I felt like when like Husky, Lil Snow, Chillin' It were really starting to pop was like one of the best times.
Yeah, that was
You're right.
Far. It was like going crazy. Like each song was just getting better and better. And then once it really reached a peak, it sadly just...
Yeah, it's because as well, I'll say this as well, the Australian scene sometimes lacks creativity, bro. That's the thing. Because it's always, it is, even in my own stuff, you got to confess, is we look up to, if you're really deep into English rap or really deep into American rap, you have to take aspects from those things, and because that's what we listen to, that's what we like. I didn't. After a while, I stopped listening to Australian rap because I'm like, it's not as good as English rap. It's not as good. It's not as good as American rap, and it never will be. I don't think. Like, I think it's gonna take years.
You don't think we could beat the UK?
No way. No, UK. No way.
We can't.
UK is a rich talent pool, man. And that's where it came, bro. Because me and Colin, we started doing grime. Grime was big before drill. But grime never popped in Australia like drill. It started to pop, and then you had, but the thing is, like drill, you had like Benny Banks, old people like that. They were making, it was pretty much, you had someone in the background, everybody else was hooded up, and you were just talking about how much of a thug
crazy bars.
Crazy bars, and then you had freaking like
who was doing it here? Like Alex Jones.
That's Flea. Flea. See, he was doing grime, but grime just didn't hit that mark like drill did.
Drill's international.
Drill.
Which is, I think, in order for something to like really hit in a nice way, it does have to have like an international flair.
Yeah, exactly.
Grime was so British.
Yeah, so British.
And I don't think many Americans could pop on it. There's no, I don't think one American artist really went over like a grime.
I mean, it's just that gang like thing as well. It's so primal for like humans just to be like gang affiliated.
That's true.
It's so influential when you just see gang, you're just like,
Yeah. He's like
That's
Italian
cool.
drill.
Yeah,
And he's like our streets of Milan.
It's like a couple of people like, who, you know? It's just like,
you're right.
We're going for you, you know? And then you move together. It's like sports, everything gets the people going.
Yeah, it does get the people going. Yeah. It's almost like the chance, like you mentioned, like sports, like a football game, each kind of team, or when you go from like country to country, they've got their chant. And it's all kind of saying, like, da 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 da.
And it's so like, I remember I was talking to someone, it was one of the guys talking to football, he's like, if the Bulldogs don't win, we'll win the fight in the stands. And it's like, no, but it's like, that's how much they think that they're part of the team.
Yeah.
It's just like, you know, like, if we win there, it's still a win for the Bulldogs. You know, like, it's like, no, it's not. You just watch it.
Yeah.
You know?
Or what about the whole, I know everyone does it, but like, we're playing this weekend. Who are we up against?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're going okay. And it's like, no, you're a fan of this team. You're not in the Bulldogs.
You're
not doing anything. You're not doing anything. You're going to work and you're going out for dinner with your family. You're not playing any games. You're going to a pub. Do you know what I mean? You're not doing anything.
That's the whole Carl Barron thing. He's like the lady on the plane's like, would you care for an orange juice? He says, if it needed me. That's bad.
That is bad.
But yeah, the whole thing.
That's language. It's like
it's great language.
It's the whole thing, you know.
Yeah,
it's like my hand.
Yeah.
But you are the hand.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
like
that's
all
very
that
true.
language.
We're getting a little bit trippy right here now. My hands hurt. Oh, you hurt.
You hurt, yeah.
This extension of you hurts. I'm liking this.
That's right. Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Far out.
No, but that's good. That's good to hear your take on the scene as well. And you have just released an album.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts after releasing? Are you going to keep it up?
Well, that's what it's so funny is because I always filed it. Oh jeez, the voice is real raspy now.
No, it's good. We're talking real well. It's good.
Drinkwater podcast.
This is the drink. Get a few sips in. This is the Drinkwater podcast, by the way. We're very eager. This is our first guest.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's our first guest.
I'm a big water boy.
I know.
Not Adam Sandler, but I'm pretty big at it.
And we do want to apologise for the rush kind of setup, but
there's wrestlers, there's vintage wrestlers.
Do you know what I mean? We got the vintage
It'll
wrestlers. Yeah. Well, this is an eager one. This sun's going a bit crazy.
It's pretty gnarly.
It's pretty gnarly. I'm about to put some sunglasses on.
To bring up Jesus.
Yeah.
The man himself.
Yeah. Speaking of the man himself, we do want to make sure we get into all the topics.
Yep. What's going?
Yes, I might actually have to close this. This is starting to get a bit.
He's blocking it.
I don't know.
Blocking out the Lord.
What are you doing?
I'm its light source.
Blocking out the Lord. I don't know what to do. It's
sinful.
No, you can take it out if you got to take it out.
It's just a bit much.
No,
Let's see if that's affecting the...
I don't want you to...
That looks fine.
That looks okay. Yeah, we're looking good there.
Good
I think it's just kind of getting in my eyes a little bit. Okay, now it's... If I'm just over here.
So how are we going to do this?
How are we going to do this?
So this is what I guess a Christianity debate.
Yeah, you could,
Yeah?
Yeah, it doesn't mind. I don't mind. Whatever you want to do.
Okay.
It's cool.
So I guess I'll just start with what are your beliefs?
Okay, yeah, that's good. Because people always say oh, you're a Christian or whatever. But really, the way it works, the way I see it is there's spiritual forces in the world. Like I'm a very spiritual
Undeniable.
person. I've met bad spirits. I've met good ones. Spirits of animals. Spirits of must have been of a demon.
Yeah.
I mean, and then the spirit of Jesus Christ. I believe each person who lived or is a person has a spirit in them. You know, and so a lot of people they go, "Oh, you're Christian." They go, "Yeah, I'm a Baptist," or "Yeah, I'm a Catholic," or I understand. With the Catholic, the devil or the bad powers that be have infiltrated that. But not all of them, but people like to use that example anyway.
But priests?
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, 100% that stuff. And we can talk because a lot of people can write the whole Jesus thing off just because of what they've done.
Of that,
and that I mean that's justified because that's pretty cooked. Man. That's way bad.
Yeah.
But it's that stuff is in every industry. There's bad cops. There's bad people who work at McDonald's. There's bad people who work at Woolworths. So it's if you have one bad worker at Woolworths, you're you know what, the fresh fruit people ain't it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's done. But going back to what I was saying is, I believe in Jesus Christ, so I believe in the spirit of Jesus Christ. And
you believe Jesus was a real person?
Pardon? Yeah, 100%. And I believe that he died and rose again. I believe that. And that's really it. But I don't really if I go to church, I don't go as much as I should, but I can go to one church, go to the other.
Yeah.
I don't care as long as because you got to read from the book, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, but some people mix it up and remix it or make it not
the
origin.
Cool.
And the same thing about rap. Some people are hip hop and some people are rapping it. You know what I mean?
You're going to an Anglican church though. That seems to be the consistent thing.
At the moment, yeah. And
you wouldn't go to a Catholic church.
But for some reason the Catholic stuff just trips me out. Sorry, my uncle, he's Catholic.
No, it's Catholics. Good. Yeah, we're technically Catholics.
Well, sorry, you guys.
Sorry, apologise to us.
But I'm sorry, Rob. So take a seat, brother. Take a seat. All right, so no, but that's my belief. So, but then the easiest way to say is just I'm a Christian because I believe in Jesus. So it's the easiest. That's if you skate, you're a skater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's my...
So Anglican, Christian...
Yeah,
Christian.
I don't mind. You can throw any tag on it. Nike Air Max 80 47, 31. But yeah. But the most important part is me.
So New Testament...
Huh? New and old, bro.
New and old?
Well, because the New Testament is the one that's they sorted it out. Because if you look through the Bible, the Old Testament, humans are so flawed that they actually couldn't keep to the rules that God ideally wanted to orchestrate.
Yeah.
So he's we need to change things. And that's from the beginning of the story. He makes man and woman and things go wrong straight away.
Yeah.
Because he's given people free choice, and with free choice, good and bad things happen. Yeah. But without free choice, robots.
Yeah.
Do we want robots?
Soon.
Soon, yeah, exactly.
Soon.
And it's ironic. Yeah. It's ironic that Bob Marley always says, "So in the beginning, it will be in the end." And that's the same thing. It's like we go from a creation of people that were all free spirits to a creation of people that have no control.
Yeah.
So finish it out. Do the opposite.
I like that.
Because if you have good and you have evil, the agenda must be the opposite of both sides. Because it's just red versus blue, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, so it's good to. It's like the Tupac said. He said you put one O to God, it's good. You put a D in front of evil, it's the devil. So a lot of these things are used to accurately describe the spiritual world, so we understand it. Because if we don't use words like that, like when we've talked about rap again, you can hear the flow in that song. What is that? Just a describing word. Everyone feels flow differently,
So why do you feel, so you're a spiritual person, good and evil.
Yeah.
Why Jesus? And why Christianity?
Yeah, because that's it's a I'm going to say the most corniest thing because Jesus saved me.
Yeah.
But the thing is because I searched all spiritual mediums.
Yeah.
So like I've done, I looked into Islam. Yeah. I got really big into Buddhism, got really big into that.
When you were searching for
because I grew up as a Christian. Like I said, I was going to church till I was 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Abandoned it because I hated it.
I think we went till we were 12.
We went till we were 12 probably around 12
pretty
as well.
The same,
weekly. Thought
and
it was
your
great.
brain clicks and you're like, it's all fake.
Well, that's it. And then and for me it was like, I was like, because I was I'm a wild cat. I mean, I need to move. And church is sitting down. Even now it's hard. Like I like to
praying to some pedophile.
Oh, here we go.
but Jesus, he was never recorded as that though.
I mean you mean you're praying as a pedophile in front of you. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You could be. Yeah. But I wouldn't pray to them. Like you pray while they're there. Of course.
And so I was all like antsy, wanted to get out, and then I started my own search. You know what I mean? I've even looked into lots of stuff: Greek mythology, Norse mythology, everything. I went and did the ayahuasca, which I told Karim about, which is where
a quick breakdown of the ayahuasca experience,
a quick breakdown, which was where you go with a shaman who is a spiritual man. That's his life, spiritual. Just like a pastor, spiritual life. Just like a priest, spiritual life. Just like a Zen monk, spiritual lives. And he told me about because I wanted to know if there was a spirit watching me, because I thought if there's nothing that cares about me in the spiritual world, my existence is meaningless. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then eventually he's like there's 3 spirits. And I met spirits in the jungle. You know what I mean? But what happened is when I finished doing stuff in the jungles and continued, I got really sick after it for various reasons, and those spirits weren't there for me anymore. And then I had dreams. About reading the Bible and stuff, and I'm like, I can ignore them while I read it. So I started reading it, and then I just I started praying or whatever, and then I just get heaps of moments where you bring up I bring it up or pray, and I feel like a presence or when you get pins and needles and stuff in a song. But sometimes it's very direct, it'll go up and down in my body or whatever. Anyway, and then as I followed that way of life and got deeper and deeper into it, I knew that he was there for me regardless of circumstances. Because in society now, everything is sort of put in place to distract you from spirituality. And it's like if you go to countries that are let's just say less advanced, whether you believe it's more advanced here or not, those countries, there's still people who they go, this man is possessed by a demon. And he probably is, because you know what, the devil has...
Is that for a mentally ill person?
No. Well, someone might say it's mentally someone's mentally ill, but sometimes there's cases where someone's they're taken over by a bad spirit, and people have to try and work it out, whether people believe in that or not, whatever. But nowadays, the devil doesn't need to do that. You never hear that in normal society. Yeah, no one goes, he was possessed by the devil. You never hear that anymore. Yeah. But they don't need it, because there's so many things to distract you from your true purpose on this earth already. You have a screen. Let's watch it. Let's watch a few episodes of this. Let's do this, do that. So even if we're not talking about Jesus and stuff, spirituality, there's a lot of ways to go off off target. So that's why I had to go to the jungle. I had to drink the juice, where all there is the birds and the bees and the songs of the spirit. But I found that the only thing that cut through the fabrics of reality, so that cut through that blockages that I mentioned, was Jesus. Because I was still like seeing sequences of numbers that I look back are related to Jesus. I'd have certain experiences, meet certain people, all these sort of things, and the story would lock through. So the spirituality then would it would manifest in my day-to-day life, so I could see it. So I didn't have to go and put the goggles on. My goggles were off. So I feel like Jesus is, of all spirits, there's many spirits, he's the most powerful. So in my opinion, if I'm going to serve someone or follow someone or believe in something, I must believe in the most powerful thing. Just if you like rap or you like basketball or whatever, you're looking at LeBron James, you're looking at, these big names.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've gone too far.
So,
No, it's good. I like it's a good breakdown.
So for choosing that, do you feel that it could be just a placebo effect, and it's this manifestation that you've put in, that this is what I'm following, and that these placebo effects have happened, and this is why, and you've manifested it, you were saying before, and that's why you're seeing these numbers.
Yeah. And it's like that could, because he's going on to like the law of attraction, manifestation. He's like, you're sort of saying that like I've created such a, not like a tunnel vision, but a tunnel vision that is just like, this is what the world's about. This is the truth.
So it'll click when you see it.
So I'm on that wavelength.
Like that 13 number, you're at McDonald's, like number 13 up next.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, what?
That's all that sort of stuff. And look, the thing is like it's you come to a stage where, so that may be true. Okay, I'll say that may be true, but you come to a stage where you must create and choose your own truth.
Definitely.
And there comes a stage where instead of knowing, you know what I mean, and that's what everything, the whole world and the whole life is about, faith.
Yeah.
And the thing as well is, it's just it's so deeply ingrained in me, I can't go back. And it even says that if you read the Bible, the people who are following them, the ones who are deep in the game, like, I wasn't deep in the game. Like, if we're talking about like rap, they're deep in the game, and a lot of it's about suffering. They're like, even Jesus said, if you go on the Bible, he was serving God, like his father. Same book in 2 and 1. We won't get into that. But even the stage when he was suffering, because he was going to get crucified, he was going to go get like tortured. He said, if you can take this cup of suffering from me, take it off me, because I don't want to go I don't want to go and cop that pain, but your will be done. I serve you, so be it. So he even didn't want to go through with the big plan, because he was a man in the sense that he was, it's just like, bro, who wants to go through that? You know what I mean? And you got to think about this, like when we talk about like manifestation or choosing your own path, what really hit me about Jesus was, unless you're clinically, like even a schizophrenic man or a crazy person, no one's going to go so far with a belief to the point of shedding their blood. That's what it says. You have to believe in something so far that you would shed blood for it. Because if I randomly said I was the Son of God, bro, I'm telling you what, I would not be prepared to be whipped, to be humiliated. I would not be prepared to hang on a cross and die. I would not be prepared to be mocked and hated. And that's the funny thing is now that I am a believer or whatever, I can be mocked and I can be put on the level of other people, Bible bashes, this and that. But if he saved me, where does my loyalty lie? I have to, I've always been a loyal person. I have to love what saves me, no matter what.
Right.
And that's why it's weird that with these sort of beliefs, the controversial stuff always happens. Like, and as the days go on, it becomes like a lot less relevant. But to me, it's still as relevant to this day.
So if they found out for a fact that Jesus had never even existed and it was just a story, would that change anything for you?
Yeah, it would. But that's what I told Karim about it as well. But this is what I think is so funny about the story, right? Is that it's like, because Karim hit me for 6. He's like, they never found his body, or there's no like archaeological proof.
We've had like 3-hour conversations about the proof.
There's no writings of Jesus ever existed.
Yeah.
Most of my stuff's all coming from you as well. So you know what I mean.
That's the point.
Yeah.
So then I heard that, and I'm like, hang on a second. Like, of course there was no body, man. He rise from the dead, bro. Like his body gone. His body, and that's my word against yours now. Now it's my word against yours. But isn't it funny though? Isn't it funny that the man who resurrected and left the earth was a man who couldn't be found, but the man who never existed is a man that we talk about right now.
I never.
That's what gets trippy about it.
I never get into the body much at all. Yeah. It's more that there were so many writers and philosophers in that era at that time where he lived, and not one of them ever wrote about him. That's where it's kind of like there's a good chance. No one ever mentioned this guy who travelled around, 12 disciples.
And the similar stories as well, didn't you say?
And then you can get into, I don't know if you know about like Egyptianology and Osiris, who had 12 disciples, died, rose 3 days later. It's the exact same story.
Yeah, but I looked into that too as well. That is very close, but there is tweaks. But I do understand, and it's even the same thing if you look at...
Yeah, there's definitely tweaks, not identical.
It's not... But
the similarity is so like undeniably plagiarized directly to it.
Yeah, from the different... And it's strange too as well that like it's the story... what am I going to say? The story sort of... It was so precious to people, bro. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's around now. It's so precious. And it is funny, like, if you say, like, a lot of these things that you're saying to a person who's on the fence, they would jump off the fence. They'd probably be like, alright, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, why? What do you think? This is a question for me to you.
Yeah.
Why do you think humanity as a whole, because it's big, kept it? Like, why do you think the Bible kept getting translated, and why do you think, they think it was written, the first bit of writing, the first story, the first origin? Why do you think it was kept and preserved?
Because I think most people are dumb, and it was a way to control people.
Is
the only reason.
But now look at this. This is the thing as well is, do you think that spiritual people are more free or more controlled than your average person?
Oh. Wait, say that again.
So spiritual people, like say
anyone who says
he goes to Byron Bay, and, you know what I'm saying? He's out there, dude. That. Would you say he was or her was more like living a controlled, like more like, because you said you used to control people.
Yeah.
Is he living a more controlled existence or a more freer existence?
Spiritual compared to Christianity, though. That's the only thing. Would you say like Christians?
No, I'm talking because the thing is Christianity is spiritual. The thing is there is people who are involved in Christianity who are not spiritual.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets deep.
Yeah. Right? Just to answer that, I would say that the spiritual person was living a more of a free life.
Yeah, more of a free life. And that's the thing is... And that's why we have interpretations and we have all the things. The same book that can free someone is the same book that can cause someone to cause war. The same thing can drive them crazy. I can read it, and if I read it in the wrong way, it'll drive me crazy.
Yeah.
I can read it, and if I read it in the right way, I'll save someone's life. And that's everything too. Yeah. That's the rap. The kid listens to...
yin and yang.
Yeah.
The kid can never be perfect. It's always going to be a positive 100%. And a negative. Yeah.
Devil, God,
yeah, devil and God.
Yeah.
It's these comparisons that like they go like from the beginning, the beginning of time. But it is true what you said. The old mythology stories, like almost like
there's like 12 of them, all predating Jesus.
And then it comes, and it's just weird too, because it's like. It took a long time for Christianity to go worldwide, because like I think of it like obviously when a lot of people think about Christians and stuff, they think about like a white person all the time. It's like even myself. But I'm like, hold on a second, it's not even. It comes from freaking where is it, the Middle East or whatever, near Egypt, Bethlehem, all those places.
Would have like a terrorist.
And he didn't speak English, and I have like a joke that people would hate Jesus if they realised he didn't speak English.
Because they wouldn't be able to.
They'd be like, Jesus, and he's literally just like speaking a different language.
You're like, we need to get somebody.
He would have had a huge beard and huge nose.
Yeah.
Everyone makes it. And that's what I'm thinking. That's when humans turn a good thing or just a thing into something that it's not. You know what I mean?
But also, is it just taking the idea of Jesus and being like, okay, this is the thing that saved me. Jesus can look like me. And then
the
you
idea
see like
is
cultures
more important than the fact that if there even was a person or not.
Yeah. Like there's the Korean Jesus for like certain Asian churches, and then you have like Jesus gets darker, or it's tricky when you have like the African American churches and the Jesus is still white.
I could be wrong, but isn't it a big thing
weird.
in the Bible not to follow false idols?
Yeah.
So following a white Jesus would be directly going against that.
Well, see, that's the thing is, it's that's very true, but it's and that's why it's hard, because we don't, like you said, we don't have the photos of what he looked like.
Yeah.
I believe what you guys said, that he looked like an Arabic man.
They've done a
reconstruction. So I presume he'd look like that, not the one that he had.
Imagine he did just look like...
That'd be hilarious. He's just like he's in the Middle East, he just looks like this.
He was just the one white guy somehow, because he's born of God.
But you know what? People need...
He's like, I'm from Minnesota. I came over from Minnesota.
But people need, and this is, we go back to the historical stuff, people need a base of reference.
Yeah.
So they need a figurehead. Yeah, like, because I've never need that. I pray to God, close my eyes right now, get down into it. Yeah. But other people need to pray in front of a statue, certain room, certain place. And that's why it's like, I know what you're saying about the idolatry or whatever, but I don't think you need to have a statue of Jesus. That's why the Catholic stuff goes a bit different ways, because they worship like the saints and stuff like that.
They're very into Mary.
Yeah, Mary, Mother Mary.
There's a whole bunch of different figures.
Yeah.
Jesus and God, this is a quick thing.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Are they different people? Because I personally, I pray to God.
Son, and the Holy Spirit.
I pray to God every night.
Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
I do the sign of the cross when I pray.
Yeah.
I just assume that's all one person.
Yeah, because it's like I always see it like I saw it as like Holy Spirit is like your Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi goes to Jesus, who's the router, and the router goes to the internet, who's God. So it's like, but they're all one and the same.
Yeah. So when you pray to Jesus, you're praying to God at the same time.
Yeah, but the funny thing is if you read in the Bible, and I hope I'm getting this right, but Jesus, if they believe that he died for people's sins, so you can forgive yourself or believe to be forgiven or not be judged because of what Jesus did. So therefore, Jesus becomes your stepping stone to talk to God.
Yeah.
See what I mean? So he's your moderator. So if it's like a court of law, you come in and Jesus is your lawyer. He's like, I can vouch for this person, and then God's sitting there, he's like, can you vouch for this person? You know what I mean? And that's the funny thing when we talk about spirituality. When I used to pray to God before, because I used to just pray for God plainly.
Right, probably just like me.
I always believed in God no matter what.
Just the spirit that created
something.
I always believed in God, but when I started to use Jesus as like that stepping stone to get God, that's when the fire was lit. You know what I mean? But before, it was very murky and unclear or whatever. So I think like there's like, people say like, there's power in Jesus Christ's name, but the name, in my opinion, holds weight in the spiritual realms. And then like, so for yourself, you said like you're a spiritual person, like you believe, because I said spirits, but when I said spirits, you believe that there's spirits and stuff. What's your experience of the spiritual realms?
Yeah, where are you now? I'm actually curious. You do change.
I change day to day. Yeah. So I've gone through. I've been Muslim for a bit.
Yeah.
I've been everything. Yeah. Currently, I would say my new theory. I feel like it's hard to explain. Pretty much that I think life created itself, and there is no God. We are God, and we're just stuck in a simulation glitch recurring where we've just created ourselves and we'll just recreate ourselves again, and it's just going to go over and over.
Yeah, how does that make you feel?
Yeah, literally. No, that's really good.
How does it make you feel?
Yeah. That's great.
I guess it just gets back to the point. Life is, to a level, pointless. There is no point to life.
Yeah.
You could do nothing, you could do everything. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But I think everyone has emotions and feelings, and to try and be a good person, and to make people feel better, and to help out.
Where's the incentive, I guess?
Yeah, where does... This is actually... Answer that question first, I'll remember my question.
Yeah.
So just say, I was born in a room, I was in a room my whole life, never saw anything, and then I see an animal get killed. No, say I see a kid get killed. The first thing I ever see. will I see that and be like, whoa, that's a bad thing? Naturally, I already have that in my DNA.
Yeah.
Or do I need incentives from a book to tell me what's good and bad?
That's the tricky
if I
thing.
was in a room,
it has been from a book, though. Because you had parents.
But if I was in the room and then I left the room for the first time after 20 years and the very first thing I saw was someone getting killed, will I still naturally know that is bad? That is a horrible thing to watch and that is not good?
Yeah.
Or am I just going to be like, I don't know, that's just something.
Right.
My emotions going to kick in and it's just you're going to get all those feelings be like, that's messed up.
Would that happen? Yeah.
And
That's an interesting one.
They did a study on that. So they did it with animals. So they had they had that room you're talking about, and they had baby birds. The birds were born in there, and then the mother gives birth, of course, taken out of the box.
Yeah. And
then after a while, they had like a string or whatever, and they could see the top of the box or whatever. They had a string, and they reeled like an eagle over it. And the birds sitting there shaking. They knew danger. Yeah. They knew danger. Oh. And that's the thing.
So then isn't that proving that it's already in us? We don't need anything else.
And that's what I think. And people who some people believe that it's God that puts that into us.
Yeah.
Or is that just genetics and it's kind of like
DNA,
what's
survival instincts?
Yeah, instincts.
More than that, like Christianity has been like the basis of humanity for thousands of years.
Yeah.
It's kind of being used as this thing, like grandparents. It's all we've all been following this book, this idea. Yeah. I think that gets ingrained into a person.
True.
You have the idea of like the the pagans.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean? You have like a pagan child born.
Yeah.
They have thousands of years of lawlessness.
Yeah.
They would see someone get killed. I think there's more likely to be like, oh, okay, that's normal. That just happens.
Yeah, that just happens.
Compared to, let's say, you right now, you were born, mother was taken away, you're in the box, you see someone that gets killed, the 1,000 years of Christianity kick in, and it's like, this is kind of bad.
Yeah, because you've never been exposed, you're right. And I think it's like when that moment happens, it is instinct, I think, because if the birds see the other bird, and that's like you said, it's like in their DNA.
Survival.
It's in your DNA.
But this is the funny thing, right? Is when we talk about like the pagan, because I love to watch what's it called, The Last Kingdom. I've been getting into my my ancestry or whatever.
Yeah.
I always liked the Vikings. I thought they were badass, but really in history, I was the guy who was fighting the Vikings. So trying to get them to stop like messing and everything else. But the thing is, and this is where the world's going now. People talk about like, that's why all Christians are like, it's the end times, you know what I mean? Because the world, I believe, is set on a scale. My dad said something wise to me. He goes, of course one day it's going to end. The world can't go forever. It's like everything expires, everything dies. Yeah. What makes you think you're different Earth?
Of course.
You know what
I like that.
So the thing is the pagans, the Vikings, and they're clashing with these Anglo-Saxons, and they believe in God, and like they abuse it. The Vikings are like, this church is filled with booty, there's heaps of gold, nuns, whatever we want to do, we'll go in there, we'll smash it, we'll get out of there, and we'll go. Anyway, they did a lot of things that are pretty terrible. I'm not saying that the Anglo-Saxons weren't doing terrible stuff amongst themselves, but it was this order that was brought through a book that helped make people become more civilized, and it worked for so long. It's like a maths textbook. A teacher, like my mum's teacher, she'll be like, the new teachers come up, my brother's girlfriend's a teacher, and she's like, you got to use this book because this book's really good, like this is the classic, you know what I mean? It's like if you were talking, I'm using Raptors reference all day.
No, good, we like to.
What's one of those great albums, 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying, all those sort of things, they are the gold standard and staple. And so we use these operating systems. I like to look at it as a computer. We've used Christianity as Windows. Let's say Windows 7 is pretty good. We used Windows 7 for a long time. But now people, they want to change Windows 7. Okay, that's fine. But let it be known it's a risk.
Yeah.
When you have things at a pretty good level, if you go too far, it gets cooked.
Keep 4G.
Do you know what I mean?
5G.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I hate. And that's what I exactly think about all the COVID crap, all that. I hate that no one's given a choice whether to progress humanity or society or not. And technology as well, because it creeped up, and before you know it, you're infected before you know it. You got the new app before you know it. And anyway, with that sort of thing, Christianity now is almost looking like pagan.
Yes, because we've gone so far.
I feel sad, but when I watch the Vikings and they worship Thor, and these guys think they're better, like, oh, what you've been told is stupid. Yeah. You're cutting people's heads off. There's no such thing as Valhalla, but we have our heaven. Don't worry. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, come on. That's dog. Like what? You know. But the same thing now is it's like, let's talk. Like, let's just drop it, bro. Like some of the stuff, like with like like transgenders in sports and stuff like that.
Let's do it. No, we're getting there. We're getting there. We have to go there.
I don't know what it is, man, but I always think about what's happening to like the youth or the kids or whatever. And I hate to think, now that it's heavily advertised, a little boy turned into a girl and regrets it when they're 18. You know what I mean? And then has to do hormonal therapy and stuff like that. Like, I think that anyone can believe, everyone should be able to choose what they want to be.
Yeah.
But don't force anything. And it's exactly the same with religion. Don't be a Bible basher.
Yeah.
Don't. Because I could have spent this whole time, or you could have spent this whole time.
To preach.
We could have attacked. I could have said, bro, you're wrong. You're wrong. And you could have been like, I'm right. And you are right, and I'm right. And we're both wrong too. And that's fine. But I think people you got to be careful when you play with systems. It's like rap. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't like the hibba. I don't like that style, so I don't listen to that. I just listen to the classic stuff. Yeah. I know the world has to progress, but where do you draw the line? And I had a good conversation with this dude. He's like, okay, well, my mother was very sick. And he's like, where do you draw the line with medical science? Because she died, and a month later, they had the medical science to keep her alive. Where do you draw the line, brother? He said to me, I'm like, where do I draw the line? And you can't. The world must run its course.
Capitalism
for better or worse. Yeah, for better or worse, the world must run its course. We can't get away from that, or get in the way of it.
Yeah, no, it's good. There's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to unpack there.
So roll it back.
I like it because I almost want to make sure we touch on every single thing.
So for this world that has no limit to when we say, okay, that's enough, this is the phone forever now.
Yeah.
Say for indigenous society, who didn't change pretty much for 80,000 years, would that be perfect for humanity? If we were all to be like that.
Yeah, and that's why because I was watching, I had to do for my course that I did. I had to do like a lot of Aboriginal studies, and I love it. Like I love especially like the South American native, all those sort of, I love the culture. Love everything about it.
I'm just gonna quickly grab some water. You want to fill up? You want some water?
I'll
be right back.
With that, they were like, he even said, he's like, for us in Australia, for thousands of years, for us, it was like the Garden of Eden. He's like, we lived in natural ways. Obviously, they fought each other and stuff like that. That's natural humans.
Yeah.
And
no bad things.
You know what's funny? And then he's like, and then, the white man came, they took over, and you're like, fuck, that's
diseases,
that shit. Diseases, all that sort of stuff. But then you think, wait a second. They had that much time, that many years, where they were untouched. Think about Europe and all those other countries, the wars, the fights. We were battling, and you know why? It's because everyone was so close. That's why I was talking about how cities become America. When everyone's too close, and then it's always us versus them. Yeah. As soon as the white people come, they're like, "What are you doing? This is savagery. It's so good." And you're right. It's that perspective. It's the perspective. You know what I mean? But I think I don't think there's anything wrong. I do. I love the thought of how the natural way of living, like just that grassroots. But then there was always something, and if we go about religion, and in each culture that wanted something more, like say like the Peruvians were like, oh, let's start using llamas now to do our work, or start building buildings. You know what I mean? And then I don't know about many other cultures. Japan, let's just start sharpening up our swords.
So would you say you're more communist perspective?
Oh, okay. See, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I'm not I don't believe that everybody should believe the same thing, because I don't believe that it's possible.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, not yet. Anyway, not yet. And when you force everybody to believe the same thing,
or to live, I guess we're all forced to believe capitalism, though.
Yeah, a little bit. You have to. Yeah.
You have to get a job. You have to pay rent.
But the thing is, there's people who don't, and that's like we're forced, but. And that's what.
Are there people?
Yeah.
Hippies in Byron Bay.
Yeah. And that's why. That's why the thing is like they have that whole I don't know if it's Wu-Tang, says the ants will conquer the elephant.
Yeah.
The elephant, or like Wizard of Oz, the guy behind the curtain.
Yeah.
They only have power if we let them have power.
Yeah.
You know how many there are of us if we all decide no. And that's what happened with the COVID.
With COVID, yeah.
Because COVID, it was like, oh, we're all for it. And then after a while, like, you know what? We don't want to be enslaved anymore.
Yeah.
We're taking that off. And me from the get-go, if someone does me wrong, I'll hold it. You know what I mean? Like, if this is what you're going to do to me to start,
so would you...
I'm never complying.
Were you vaccinated as a kid?
Yeah. But I never had my
choice.
Mind. I didn't have a choice.
So if you had a choice... As a kid, you probably wouldn't have taken...
Well, no, I would have, you know what, I would have listened to instruction because I don't know any better. Like, I think when you're a teenager, that's when you start to think about what, why and what if and all that.
Let's say you didn't have to get the vaccinations till you were 16.
Yeah.
For all the things that you got as a kid, would have you then gotten them at 16? If it was your choice?
Oh, well, yeah. No, that's trippy. But I actually
for
think
these diseases,
and I'm not, because you know people say anti-vax.
Yeah.
I'm not against all of them because I think some of them actually were for something.
Like flu, you get the flu vaccine.
No, not flu, like polio vaccine.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. Like, and I think as well, there's deep stuff that they made these conditions that people then had to become vaccinated for. That's another story.
Yeah.
For everything.
No, not for everything. But there was a big thing. Like anyway, we won't get into that because it's another thing.
I don't think you can go to a lot of schools without having vaccines.
Yeah,
for your children.
Yeah.
Or
even going to Peru, did you have to get?
Yeah, I had.
A bunch of vaccines.
Everyone was like, because one of my bosses, because I'm not doing it. He's like, bro. He's like, you went to Peru and you got the malaria one.
Yeah.
I said, that's because there's mosquitoes out there biting people, man, and they freaking will kill you. You know what I mean? I don't see anything, and I did get sick with COVID, but as I expected, I would beat it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, fear is what was used, and fear will have control over people. Even the fear of God, religion, can make people go control, as you said.
Yeah.
But you can get freedom, or you can have freedom or fear. You have one or choice.
I remember it was that 28-year-old guy died. And everyone was like,
I'm getting shot.
It's like, wait, how old was he? I remember that was and everyone's like, this is red hot, I'm going to get it.
Yeah. And they kept that, and that's why, and my mum would keep coming out to me, and she's like, did you hear this new story? And I'm like, mate, they'll tell you, they can tell me anything. They can tell me there's a freaking elephants that are giving it to people. I'm not taking it. Because I knew that's why I was doing it, because I'm like, how would I get people to do it?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a big thing as well. People, like when I talk about it, people might think that I'm judging them or maybe people are judging me. The fact is I don't care. I just think that everyone should have their own choice.
So what was the main reason you didn't want to take it?
Well, because I knew that, I believe that, this is crazy, but like further up, not in the base level, I believe it's like a pyramid. That's why you have like the Illuminati thing.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's like Chinese whispers. So the higher you are at the top, the more you know. The lower you go down, the less you know, but you know a bit.
Yeah.
Until it goes right down, until people got no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And they're still operating the same mission. You know what I mean? And I believe it was the first time that they showed their hand, the powers that be, the ones who have to orchestrate the end of the world. That process we were talking about before, that has to be done by people. Because otherwise, if you leave us be, we're just going to stay on this update of the computer. We're going to be patch 137.
Yeah.
And that's what I hated as well, because before COVID, I felt like we were at our peak in Australia anyway. I felt like we were at our peak. Everyone, like, opportunity was there if you wanted to it.
Interesting.
Yeah, everything was good.
Interesting.
Perfect. And I'm like, and here comes the big old,
So it was just the idea of being forced to do something that it was like...
Yeah, because that's...
So it's just...
Because that's what I mean, like, I didn't like...
So it wasn't thinking that it was going to kill you or it's got poison.
No.
You were saying certain things about the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
But it was mainly just because you were being forced.
You're right, Karim, I did say that. You're right saying that. And I think...
I don't know if you've changed your mind about that or anything.
But I still... I was seeing it, because I even said, I'm like, whether it is the mark or not, it's a good time to practice.
Yeah.
And I practiced. Because I thought... And as I said, like, if you like, fool me once, shame on you, twice or whatever. If you join the gang or you join the band or whatever, and you do one thing wrong, someone might be like, man, these people, maybe they ain't that good.
Yeah.
And other people will be like, oh no, maybe just a weird bit of character. Second time something happens, they stay on until it's the real big one where they tell you, like, we need you to kill this bloke if you want to continue the game. You're like, I don't know if I want to do that, but you're too deep. Let's just do it. And that's how it's worked. This is how it will work with this.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was turning into that when it came to the vaccinated versus the non-vaccinated.
Yeah.
You had the riots or the protests in the streets.
Yeah, it was all...
And it was basically like, these people are going to ruin the world.
Yeah.
If we kill them all, it will be okay.
And the thing is as well is when these things bring about chaos. And it's funny as well, this is a big call as well, but the guy who had the foot in his neck for the Black Lives Matter, the whole thing, on his chest was a Masonic symbol that said order through chaos. So you create chaos, you create order through the chaos. So COVID, we were never more controlled because of how much chaos there was.
Yeah, wow.
And that's how they do it. And it's what they bring perspective to. Like if we talk about obesity or whatever, if we talk about all the time, like, cigarettes, you got the broken fingers or whatever on the, you go, I'm never smoking. You know what I mean? But you don't have that on the Big Mac, so let's go for it.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing.
You see this will kill you a horrible, painful way. You're like, maybe not.
Yeah. Literally.
That's a bit...
That's a bit... Okay, fine.
And one of my friends said with that, when the solution is bigger than the problem, that's when you have a real problem. The solution to COVID was bigger than the problem itself. How many people committed suicide because they couldn't see families? People are struggling out there, all that sort of crap. Anyway, but and that's just how it happens.
Because me personally, I was pretty similar. I didn't want to get it.
Yeah.
Then I did watch probably a few videos that like some scientists talking about it, which kind of convinced me ultimately. Well, pretty much like you don't know the long-term effects, but you don't know the long-term effects for anything. Like
that's true. There's
nothing really in it that shows that anything crazy is going to happen, but we don't actually know. But
yeah.
And that's the thing. So it must have been like for me. It must have because they always used to use the comparison of drugs as well. They're like, oh, you'll go sniff a line at the club, but you won't take a vaccination.
Yeah.
And you're like, but I chose to sniff that line of coke. You know what I mean? I didn't. No one told me I couldn't work.
Yeah. Unless you do a bump, but not coming to work.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm still not. That's the one thing about COVID that is still crazy.
Yeah. And it's funny, but see the people. Everyone's waking up in the sense that like, oh, I'm not going to report to a job. I'm going to work for myself because I am the king. If you go back to the, I am God. We are all gods. I am a king. I am a powerful, and that's what society wants people to forget the power that they have. David Icke, massive conspiracy artist.
I love David Icke.
And he was out there on the streets going,
when
COVID was coming, bro, he was out on the
millions
streets.
of people.
But he was shut down. You couldn't see him anymore because conspiracy, whatever. But what happened to freedom of speech? Don't worry about it. It was down the Google.
There is no such thing as freedom of speech in England, though.
Or
Australia. Only America has freedom of speech.
I think they kind of let us get away with quite a bit.
We literally, it says you do not have freedom of speech in Australia.
But we can get away with quite a bit.
Yeah,
we can bring it right up to them.
We're talking about
Do you know what I mean? Like,
this will get flagged.
This was probably going to get flagged on YouTube.
It'll just have the
it'll have the
real
COVID.
facts.
Yeah, it'll have the COVID stuff.
Damn.
Yeah, and they'll just hide it. So
we cooked the whole episode.
No, we have to talk about this.
Yeah, and that's the thing is people the powers that be. So if you think about it, there's a power that I believe gave us is freedom.
Yeah.
And as someone, I believe that I came from God. I came from this great source, right? That's what I believe. And on the other spectrum, there's something that's like, no, you are mine. We control you. We don't want you to make decisions. I am the real power. All that sort of stuff. Man, when it comes down to that, you want the people who are free-willed to forget all about their free will. You want them to forget their spiritual power. And we as humans are freaking amazing, bro. Watch basketball, watch sports, listen to music, anything.
I saw someone juggling Rubik's Cube, solving them.
That's what I'm saying. We can do
that was one of the crazy things I said.
We can do anything. And that's what I'm saying. As soon as we're getting to this really good utopia where people are like, I'm going to go to England, I'm going to live there for a bit or whatever, then all of a sudden they're like, hang on a second, we got to
hold on.
Great reason.
We've got to clamp down. And then there's all that, and there's all these blind spots in society about, there's countries that are still poor. Where's the handouts? Where's the help there? I mean, if you said to everyone in Australia, I don't know how many millions people there are. 25 million. Everybody give $10 today for one country and we'll juice the shit out of that place.
Yeah.
That place, bro, they'll all have rollies, everything. Oh, my boys, mate. You know what I mean? But straight up, you can just lift everything up.
That's crazy. That is a funny idea.
Yeah, can we change the world if we want to? You know what I mean? Like, if we want to. You know, if they'll let us. You know what I mean? But we don't have to let us. We can do it ourselves. That's why you have people who like go out and.
I think
like Akon, I respect that.
You want poor countries if you want to run a successful business.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to be able to pay people nothing to do something that here you'd have to pay them $50 an hour.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why people are like, when we were talking about the same course I was doing before, we were talking about homelessness.
Yeah.
And I said, we need homeless people and homelessness will never finish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's when we get the end of duality. Just good, no evil, no good. You know what I mean? Because then it's just, everything's great.
Yeah.
What's wrong? How can you be a good person if there's no one that needs a hand?
Yeah.
We were saying
what's that movie with Christian Bale where they lose all their emotion and everything's perfect?
Well, I haven't seen that.
It's
It's
one of the best movies.
Really?
But it's basically they've realised the problem with life is humans' emotions.
Yeah.
So you just take a drug, you're emotionless, so you feel no emotion whatsoever, but there is no war, no crime,
nothing interesting happens.
Nothing, there's no art. Though nothing, everyone's just a robot. You just
we'll say that about Scandinavian countries. Yeah. I think last episode talking about how they've basically achieved it in a weird way. Yeah, in like Sweden and stuff like that.
They're close to it.
They're pretty close to it. Everyone kind of has money.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of doing all right. Yeah. But how are the people going? How are they really?
Yeah.
What's really going on?
I think it's that balance.
It's just that whole Instagram thing. Then after that, that's another thing. Balance.
You have to have absolute poor people who starve to death, and then you have to have trillionaires who have every single thing in the world.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
You need that. You need that comparison.
Yeah.
You need that.
So the world will never be fixed.
Do you need to have trillionaires?
We'll be living in chaos forever.
Yeah, that's scary.
I'd like to believe that one day it transcends like to just good and not just bad, like just good.
So everyone's just getting by?
No, I just mean like if we go good and bad, light and darkness, and one day there's just pure light, that's it. So your best day is every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You think that can exist?
No, that's what I'm hoping. Actually, I do believe it. Yeah, I do believe it because I don't think like it'd be a very tough trot for us to be here and then not experience that after, because life is a very tough and hard place. Speaking personally, you know, it's just we all have it, man. World can be up and down in seconds. You know what I mean?
How about $100 million? That's the cap. That's all you can make. That's all you can make. I'm going back to something. How about $100 million? We just leave it there. Yeah, that's the much. That's the most you can make. After that, you're done.
And we're going back to draw the line. We're going back to draw the line.
Yeah.
What about inflation? Does that go up year by year?
It changes. The idea of whatever $100 million is now, that's all a person can ever make.
Because it's that scary fact. There's more money in offshore accounts than there is in America.
Oh yeah, that offshore.
Yeah.
Do you
it's terrifying.
How that works? Do you know how that works?
Yeah.
It's me and my mate. We play payday and you rob the bank and it goes into your offshore account. I just want to know, like, what is that all about, bro?
There's just these weird little countries where laws, pretty much there are no laws.
Yeah.
So you can just put money in there tax-free and it's no one even knows it's there.
Yeah.
So say all these people, you make $1 million. I don't know exactly how you do it, but you somehow transfer it to that bank. Don't have to pay tax on that $1 million. It's just hidden there.
That's almost it's a bit dark webby, isn't it?
It's pretty much that
you'll have to do a dark webby
Elon
thing
Musk
to get there.
And Jeff Bezos aren't the richest people in the world.
Yeah.
There are probably thousands of people with so much more money than him. It's not even funny, but they don't publicly show that money and never will.
Yeah.
And no one will ever know. Which is scary. They're like the most rich.
They're the two biggest companies. Yeah, it's like
publicly their money, they're rich. But I reckon there's so many elites with like trillions of dollars just in offshore accounts that you'll never ever see or know about.
Yeah, and that's why I think when I talk about people who run the world, I'm like, there's people we don't see that do. Yeah. Question I give for you guys: what do you think about a city with no laws? So
anarchy.
This is you. This is anarchy.
So like anarchy.
Yeah, no, let's just say in America, you know, you got like a land, so you got all those different. They come up with a new state, and this new state, if you're inside there,
lawless.
No laws.
Can rape, pillage.
Yeah. Can that happen in today's society? Do you endorse it or do you not endorse it?
Yeah.
And how would you feel like stepping up in those streets yourself?
We've had conversations about
people, and it would go exactly how you think it would go.
We've had conversations.
One man, the strongest, most confident, egotistical will take over and have his minions, and it'll just be how it is. And it's pretty much, it'll just recreate what we have here, but in a less controlled way. Someone will gain control, set up some system.
Yeah.
And they'll just create their own little capitalistic, horrible society.
And it becomes like...
and then he'll probably get his head cut off one day.
Yeah.
And then someone will hold it up.
Yeah, hold it, and then he'll be in charge.
I'm the next one.
Then that's the flag of the country. Hey, have we checked in like, Idistan? There's literally a new flag. It's just someone holding up the guy's head.
It'll just change week to week.
Yeah.
You guy in control.
Because that falls into the idea of anarchy a little bit, I think. And we've had conversations about it. Yeah. And you've mentioned you were a fan of anarchy. I don't know how you feel now about it.
I've definitely, probably changed. Because, anarchy is just pure freedom.
I used to love
what is freedom?
I used to draw this, when I was 15, bro, talking about those errors, I spray painted a stencil of the anarchy sign on my hat, bro.
That's
good. It was about freedom.
I guess, it's what is freedom?
Yeah.
Freedom is to do whatever you want. So if there was pure freedom, you should be allowed to kill someone.
Yeah.
That's freedom.
Yeah, of course.
Freedom.
So I don't think anyone actually wants freedom. I don't think freedom's a good thing.
Can we do a quick around the room?
Yeah, let's do
what freedom means to each person, personally.
Let's start with you.
Let's start with you.
Sweet.
Start with me. What is
freedom for you, man? Like your experiences of it as well.
What does freedom mean for me? I feel it is the idea of being able to do quite a bit. To the point where, like...
You can go to the toilet, you can go for a walk.
Do you know what it is? I think freedom to me is like having I don't know about every other school, but having a free period at school.
Yeah.
And let's say every free period's free. Do you remember like having a free period and you're like... I can do what?
You can draw.
You mean I can literally draw the whole session if I want to? The school and everything still exists. It still exists, but you've got a free period right now. And I think of the idea of a free period forever. And it's like, we still got to go to school, it's up to you.
Yeah.
And I think a young kid would be like, I'm going to study, maybe.
Yeah, see, that's true.
Do you know what I mean? I feel that's kind of absolute freedom for me. You still have these things that exist because they have to.
Yeah.
I think this is like the best idea of freedom, is having like a forever free period.
Yeah.
You understand kind of what you should be doing. You're kind of brought up a little bit in like, hey, this is the structure that we've been having. Now you're old enough, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. I guess I would say freedom is pretty much what I said before. It is anarchy, and no one would actually want pure freedom, but we call freedom capitalism.
Right.
Where you can have a society where you can progress in whichever way you want, and it's not communism.
Right.
So I'll just say the new term of freedom is just capitalism.
So with that, when's the time that have you ever had the experience of feeling free? Like, have you, like, you know how people are like, doing this is so freeing. What makes you feel free?
Currently or just...
just like, big moments, or even currently. Just a moment where you're like, I'm free right here. Like, feel the wind through my hair.
I guess recently would just be when you clock off work and I'm walking to the gym. I feel free. I feel nice.
It's the whole idea that you have to have had something. Because I know there's something nice about like...
What's freedom without no freedom? I mean, you have to have had no freedom to feel the freedom.
Exactly. Yeah. Even like with I used to swim a lot. Like having the shower after like a big carnival or a big training session. You're in that shower, it feels good.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm done now. If you woke up in the morning, didn't have anything to do, when you go straight to that shower, it's going to feel terrible.
Yeah. And we're born, like, if we go, we went back to the first human beings and stuff, you're born with, like, things need to get done. Like, you need to go hunt something, And as you said, with the kids or whatever, I see it at my work sometimes. If you give them no activity, they love it for a bit, they grab cricket bats and they tap each other. But then after a while, they come over to you and like, when are we going to do something?
Yes.
Like, when are you going to structure us? Because we can have a better experience with the structure. Like, if we're playing soccer, someone can reach great glory with a kick.
100%. We need a ref. We need a ref. We can't just have a lawless game of soccer, because what happens is that one bad kid's just slide tackling everyone.
Runs with the ball. Throws it in.
The kid Phoenix on the floor.
Remember that video game where you could that soccer game and all know it was a video game.
It was a PlayStation 1 or 2 game. It was
soccer with no rules. So you could just punch someone in the face, grab the ball and run. They could just come like kick you.
You would just get the ball and run. Someone would just come and tackle you.
That was so fun.
You jog it, you like kick it for a little bit. Dang. But yeah. What does freedom mean for you?
I think I think it's expression, bro. I think you should be able to express yourself, like whether it's in any regard. Like that's why like the biggest moment of freedom. That's why I was talking about that 300 story.
Yeah.
Is where the dude's like. I think freedom as well is when you live from your heart. You choose what your heart believes. Because he's surrounded by the Persian army, and they're like, we're gonna take you over. We respect that you're defending yourself, but submit to us or whatever, and we'll take over your culture. Like get rid of your culture. You know what I mean? That's like they told you, oh, you got to shave your head. You know, you got to shave your eyebrows, everything. And you're like, well, no, I'm not going to do that, and I'm willing to accept the punishment.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Willing to accept. Because when I see him and he's like, he throws the spear at freaking, Xerxes. And he knows he's going to die. They all know, and I'm like, in that moment, it's freedom.
That's pure freedom.
Yeah, in my opinion.
I like it. Because even we were talking about last week, just like the importance of having a shared enemy.
Yeah.
And what that does to kind of like appreciating where you're at now. Like the idea I think we were saying is if a whole bunch of soldiers came into the streets and like China's coming in right now, it's taking over Australia. How much do you really like Australia now?
Yeah.
Are you going to start fighting or are you just going to let them take over? And that's almost like, wait a second, everything's pretty great here.
Yeah.
I do not want to lose what I have right now and I'm willing to die for it.
And I think that's the biggest expression. I think it's like one of the most artistic things you can do, I guess, is to sacrifice yourself for the cause. And so many people have done it. Like
to be a martyr.
Yeah. Like, and it's just, it's wild. It's really wild.
It works so well. It's like, I always feel that about Eminem. If he died, I feel like, I don't know what you think, but I find his new music so bad.
Yeah.
I can't even listen.
It's not even...
I can't even listen to it.
It's not even music,
It's talented, it's amazing, but it's just like... it feels like it's computer generated. There's no soul in it.
It's like I find the same with Nas. I can barely listen to new Nas
And it's just like, if he died, like when Tupac died, he would be...
Oh my
God
God.
He'll be remembered like greatest rapper.
Imagine
it's
Tupac's
like,
alive.
even if like Lil Peep or Juice WRLD was still alive, even XXXTentacion, they could have destroyed their careers completely.
You're right.
Do you think, this is controversial, a lot of people don't like the Recovery album from Eminem. Do you think if he died before Recovery or after Recovery, and I just mean just after Recovery, or before Recovery?
What did Recovery have on it?
What did Recovery was like Not Afraid and all that
stuff. Oh,
just after
so that's what I'm saying. You know how I want to see if he made that immortal status. Do you think it would be just after that or before?
It would have to be before.
Not Afraid would be pretty crazy.
Not Afraid is so bad. That was where literally people started turning on Eminem.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't.
That's when it started to get commercial. It's like...
Yeah. And you know what's funny as well? You know how I was talking about like how you influence society and people? That was the first album. He's like, I've told everybody that I do drugs and I've told everyone to do it. I've been really bad about my mum. The first album where he's like, I'm not afraid to get sober and take care of my
yeah.
Oh, Eminem, that's whack. You're like, what's that?
I think it's that thing. People want to see someone like destroying themselves
artistically.
It's beautiful.
And that's why now, like the face tats is so big because before that was a sign of self-destruction. In society.
Yes.
It's like Lil Peep is just like his music is just pretty much like Overdose, or it's like all those guys, and just. If he then changed and it was about going to the gym every day and being positive, people would be like, this is whack.
Yeah.
Go back to where you're like depressed and bad relationships and all this and that.
That's true. You have someone like, I don't know if you know Bexy too well, Lil Peep's like best friend. He's kind of done that. He's a guy who's like just obsessed with Lil Peep after he died, never kind of recovered from it. And now he's like going to the gym, rapping a little bit, trying to live healthy.
It's just so hard. People almost don't want to hear that.
Yeah, you don't. You can support it, but it's not exciting.
Yeah.
You're not going to kind of hang out for it compared to...
It's sick that we're like that, but...
it's the whole thing. Everyone likes to look at a car crash, but I was
going to say the car crash thing.
That's literally it. Or it's the fight in the street.
He's going.
Like, you won't look at just two guys talking in the street, but if they're punching on, you're not going to look away for 1 second. You're going to be glued to those two people now. And the second they make up, and you're like, oh, that's boring now.
Yeah.
What is it? Going. What actually is that? What is that about people? What is that, like the violence?
You want to see destruction, something.
MMA.
Yeah, people love it. They love it.
People love MMA.
It's still the I think it comes down to the heart. It's people still value. I think there's bravery and stuff like that.
Oh, true.
Living life on the edge.
Living life on the edge, which is the same
bravery. It probably is just bravery. What Little Pete's doing kind of by getting the face tattoos and all that. Wow. Like I'm brave, I don't care, I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah, it's like Tekashi 6ix9ine. When I saw him, like, this guy has no business doing what he's doing, but the ball's on the fella.
Yeah.
Everyone would say that.
It's like, I could never do that. The idea of putting 6ix9ine all over your body.
Yeah. That is...
And doing this.
Calling out
I've got to respect that. Like, that is insane.
That's the definition of sending it.
Yeah.
It's literally like...
It is just watching someone being like, I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that. And living vicariously through them.
And people would say, oh, anyone could do that, but I'd love to see... No one could do that.
No one could do that. You're not gonna... This kind of like year 12 kid isn't gonna start getting 6ix9ine tattooed all over his body and... chase his dream. Do you know what I mean? It's just...
And that's what I was talking about before, like, we talk about, juggling Rubik's Cubes and all that sort of stuff. Like that, humans, we can do anything. Like,
we really,
he's the proof of that. Make $1 million by being a rainbow guy, like...
With what?
No, Tekashi makes $1 million by being a rainbow guy.
Literally.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Great music though. I like his stuff now.
You too. I did a real sit down with Luke, and I put down on day 69. I was like, this is one of the. This is probably one of the greatest hip hop albums.
It's just so smooth, the silk.
Every single song on that day 69 mixtape is amazing. Yeah. It's one of the most consistent.
Was a child molester though, but
was he?
Yeah. So you probably shouldn't support it.
I probably shouldn't support it. It's written off. It's a terrible album.
Probably a great album.
Probably a great.
But that's another one.
Just put a lid on it.
To go into that.
It's over there now.
On separating the
Undertaker.
They are wrestlers.
Imagine you just get some.
Back up.
I should probably have the Undertaker doing that.
Do you think going on with society, if an artist or anyone does something that's unforgivable, they should then be cancelled from everything they have done? They should no longer be able to profit from anything they had done or will do in the future.
It's hard because when I do the DJing, every now and then I feel like playing Michael Jackson, but I think it's very controversial. But
DJing at basketball.
Yeah, but
for everyone.
Everyone. I just hate that like because the song is a good song.
Yeah.
Billy
that
Jean.
song Gotti.
You're too.
No, even if you go to Tekashi 6ix9ine, Gotti is a great song. It's like.
I Believe I Could Fly, one of the most beautiful songs, but.
Ignition remix.
Ignition, yeah.
Come on now.
Come on now.
And that's the thing, man. And it comes down to like a family member. It's great family member till he killed that bloke or whatever. Where do you go there?
That's true.
Do you know what I mean?
That's really true.
Can you forgive, or is it? It seems that there are some things that write someone off. In my opinion, stuff with kids is a write off.
Write off.
Yeah.
Write off is
the
stuff with kids. Yeah, no matter how good they were.
And that's tough. But
how about with R. Kelly? Because there's stuff with
kids.
kids.
Did he just piss on girls? That's all I know.
No.
Young girls.
Oh, he did worse. Young girls.
Raping lots of young girls.
Yeah. But what he's also done is, he's a songwriter. Can like, let's say there's a Rihanna song. Can we listen to that if he wrote it?
Right.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
So he's ghostwriting for another artist. Yeah, how deep?
Yeah, imagine something comes out with like Ed Sheeran or someone, and then most of the music industry, like, you can't play this Justin Bieber song now, you can't do this, you can't do that.
Yeah. And then it almost goes back to, say, Pythagoras.
Right.
He probably was a child molester because in those times that was normal and allowed.
Yeah.
So should we get rid of the Pythagoras theorem?
And this is what's so crazy.
That'd be hilarious.
We need it.
It's like, yeah, sorry, we're getting rid of it. It's like, how much do I? And it's like, well, you have to do this now.
Because of,
And that's why what I thought was really interesting. There was a show called The Frankenstein Chronicles, and it was about in England where people used to rob bodies and they used to play around with them for medical science. Yeah. And they found out that the body could move with electric magnetic signals put to it. It's like, how people like... you hit the knee and it goes up like that.
Yeah,
they put electricity in people, they move. Like, oh, the body's made of electricity. But people at the time, like the Christians, are like, this is unholy. But then eventually they created the defibrillator, which can bring someone back to life through electricity. So then it makes you think that before that was considered dark evil, now considered dark light.
Yeah.
So things, how dark will things be that we think are fine as society continues?
How about this? This is funny. Edison found out he's a child molester. Bam, all lights are off. This is a complete like a...
It was in the softest version, like, okay, solar only.
Solar only.
We can't. That's crazy though, I hadn't thought of that.
Just like...
So that,
everything gone.
You're taking it to the most extreme point, so we'd have to accept it. But then every light you see would remind you of a child.
It was...
It's such a hard one. It's hard to do from the past. I feel like you can't because it's too late. But moving forward, should it be from that point?
Inventors can get away with anything they want.
Should they be allowed to though? Or is that setting a bad precedent for society?
No, because they've done something...
As long as you do something good, anything bad is fine.
I feel you have the difference between like art and creation. Like someone who's like creating the engine or something like that. It's in a different industry. It's not in like the but I guess it's technically creative.
And they can get so interchangeable.
Yeah.
Because we can't know, like, say he wrote Ignition before he did all that wax stuff. Is it then?
That's true. Yeah. When was it written?
That guy.
Was he that guy then?
I was like,
Oh yeah, no, too easy.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess it does come down to like, what is the difference between like music? I guess painting, like Picasso doing some crazy things. Suddenly all the value of his artwork's going to go down. Like,
should they? Yeah, and people have invested millions and millions of dollars.
Imagine if they have dirt on Picasso.
So the government would have to reimburse those buyers if now they deem his artworks worthless.
Or is that just the price you pay investing in art?
Yeah,
and it's going to become like
the
that.
Risk.
Yeah, because I think on Tim Dillon and stuff like that, they're always talking about investing in art, and it's like, okay, you can have a share of a Picasso.
Yeah,
and it's just like Bitcoin, and he's sort of crypto.
You don't know what could happen.
You don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. What are the rumors on this person? Yeah. What have they done in their past? People can quickly log on like Wikipedia for Picasso and be like, I'm going to bet against it. Because
there are a lot of bad things for Picasso.
I think there are a lot of bad things for Picasso, and I feel there's something...
It's extremely misogynistic.
Yeah. We're going to find out that he...
They already know.
They know he's a pedophile.
He wasn't a pedophile. He was just a very misogynistic man, just like all men were back in those days.
I'm willing to say he was with an underage girl.
Oh, probably, yeah.
I could put money on it, and I feel that's going to come out in a few years.
I don't think it'll ever come out.
You don't think it will?
No. I don't think it would even change anything if it did come out.
Yeah, you think so? It comes out that Picasso had like a relationship with a young woman, like a 14-year-old.
And how could that come out? What are they going to find? Instagram post.
I know it is Instagram.
A message, like, what are they going to find?
Because I don't know.
Girl's
they'll find a photo.
Granddaughter says it, and then that can't be proven. Like, I don't think you could ever prove that happened.
What would probably happen, you'd go to Spain and there'll be like some Spanish artist that comes up, like let's say her name is like Rosie Blonde.
Yeah. And she's 9-year-old.
Yeah. Or no, she's like She says
I was romantically involved with Picasso when I was 14.
No, I'm talking about like a 26-year-old or a 30-year-old girl who comes from like wherever Picasso's from in Spain.
Yeah.
And then she's having an interview with like she's on Joe Rogan or something like that. And be like, oh yeah, do you know my grandmother dated Picasso when she was 14?
Yeah.
And you'd be like, what, man? And then suddenly, it's just as simple as that.
I don't think anything would come out of that.
It's like the Bill Cosby thing with Hannibal Buress.
It happened with David Bowie, no one cared. David Bowie slept with a 14-year-old. It kind of just got... People just kind of let him off for it.
That's true.
Because he didn't know, he says.
Yeah. It's a tricky one. We're talking about people getting cancelled.
Sorry, just coming in and having a pile of
Because probably one of the worst artists whose works are worth millions of dollars is Gauguin.
Oh,
you know Gauguin.
Yes. Yeah.
So he went to
Do you know Gauguin?
You have to go
education
about it.
Here we go.
So
he's getting fired up. It's good.
After who's the guy that cut his ear off?
After
Van Gogh died, they were best friends.
Yeah.
He inspired Van Gogh, vice versa.
Yeah.
So Van Gogh dies, Gauguin then goes to Tahiti.
Yeah.
And pretty much just slept with a whole school of like 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
And gave them syphilis, all these diseases. And for the rest of his life just lived there, raping women and just painting them. And they were all his final paintings. And those paintings sell for millions and millions of dollars.
Sometimes that's too disgusting. Man.
It's like Gary Glitter.
Should those works now be worthless?
Yeah. What happened?
Right.
Our mother had a huge Gauguin on our wall growing up.
I'll look at it every single. I had no idea.
I had no idea. She said I can't do it anymore.
Really?
She said no.
True.
Wow.
She didn't know. She found out, and she's like, I can't actually look at this artwork anymore.
Yeah.
Because we were saying like the price of art. Let's say Picasso is like $100 million. Crazy stuff comes out about Picasso. He had like a 14-year-old wife. Suddenly, what's going to happen with a Picasso when you're looking at your wall? All the Picassos in the world, all these millionaires, all these people that have like, well, I have a Picasso here.
I don't think it would because Gauguins haven't changed and they're going up. No.
Really?
No one cares. Maybe
because it hasn't been marketed the right way.
Yeah.
And this goes into the weird idea of conspiracies of the takedown with like someone like Bill Cosby, where a lot of people will say it was purposeful. They wanted to bring him down because he was going to do this thing. Same with Michael Jackson. It's like, we need to bring this guy down. We can let David Bowie get away with this.
What was Michael Jackson doing?
Yeah. Michael Jackson had a lot of control in the music industry.
Right.
He had like, what is it, the Beatles catalog. He had this and that.
And then it came out. So what were they trying to bring down?
I know, it was coming out right before he died. He was going to court.
Right. Yeah.
He was so powerful in the music industry. He had all these things that he shouldn't have.
So it just happened that he was friends with kids.
I feel they needed to get something on him. And they're like...
So he was just a normal guy. Yeah. He had some like 6-year-old buddies.
Yeah.
And then they just set him up.
They were like...
him a pedophile.
It's like me. It's like me. Let's say... we just had this conversation then. I'm pretty sure Picasso's done something crazy. I think we can get some dirt on Picasso. I'm sure of it. Pull that out, Jamie. If I really wanted to, I could find something.
You don't even need to. Like, his paintings are of like... one of his most famous paintings are painting women as meat.
Being a misogynist, yeah. I feel that's...
He would go to the brothel at nightly, like he was a very...
People draw the line at kids.
Yeah.
That's the tricky thing. Because we also mentioned David Bowie. He slept with like a 14-year-old. And it kind of didn't really hit him.
No one really cancelled him.
What? Same with Paul Walker. His girlfriend was like 15.
True.
And that just kind of didn't... Yeah, Fast and Furious. I know, we're good. We're going for them all.
Drink water podcast. You never know where it's
You came back in a pretty intense thing. We're outing everyone for their...
Not Paul, man.
I know, we're not Paul. Not Paul. But that's the thing. If you really want to find dirt on someone, you're going to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone, they say that, why is my voice worse since I came
I know, I think.
everybody's a villain in somebody's story, that's what they say.
And I guess it's like changing, say in 400 years, the legal age for sex changes to 25.
Yeah.
And then everyone back 300 years ago is now seen as a pedophile.
Guilty, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, but back then it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
So...
What happens with those sorts of
times change.
Yeah.
Boy. What would be something now that maybe in 50, 100 years people are like, how the hell were people just okay with that?
It would be like all the...
High fives touching people.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I reckon people watch videos of people hugging each other, but that's weird shit.
I think the iPhones are going to be a big one.
People would be like, in what way?
Be like, you know, they're made by kids, and they will.
Right.
We're not having the iPhones. We have like this thing from our own country,
yeah.
And or like the technology is going to disappear.
Anything that's been exported to and imported from another country will be looked at like.
Yeah. Be like,
you were supporting child slavery.
Yeah. Did you know that, Dad? You were literally supporting child slavery.
Yeah. What was I going to do?
Yeah. It's like I kind of knew it was.
Nike thing too, wasn't it?
Yeah, Nike. Yeah.
We all kind of know what's happening. It's almost like slavery back in the day.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's going on. I know it's.
What am I going to do?
What am I going to do about it? It's like we know about.
I'm going to go take down 50,000 sweatshops.
Yeah, we know the sweatshops exist. Yeah. Every single person in like Western society knows that these sweatshops exist, and they're taking these products.
And the people, have you seen like the letters for Shein? No. So keep customers like some people have ordered things from Shein, and in their package it'll have like an SOS. Please help me! They're holding me hostage, like stuff like that from the workers in the factory. It's crazy.
So we all kind of know that, but we're still continuing to do it.
And they have like at these factories like huge nets around them.
Yeah, so you can't do it yourself. Which is. Everyone knows these stories, yet...
It blows a lot of good...
Yeah, I got my phone.
I've got my phone right there. I went and got a new one.
I'm kind of looking at it to upgrade, sure.
That's a scary thing. I knew about that and I went and got the new laptop. I knew about that and went and got the new iPhone. And I'm going to get the next one, probably.
I think that's it. We all know we're bad people.
Yeah.
And I feel, it does come down to that at the end of the day. That
you can't be good.
You can't be good, and I feel it's...
If you were, it's that fallacy that you would kill yourself and donate all your organs, and that's the best thing you could do.
Yeah, there's a mad quote that said, if you think you're perfect, then you should go into a museum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, go...
A perfect person I think I came across was like a jiu-jitsu guy called Mikey Musumeci. I don't know if you know him.
Is he perfect?
He's perfect.
He might be perfect. He's just a great guy. He might be the
just
perfect.
a good bloke.
You think he never really just kept choking on someone?
He's a monster. But he just comes across as like the perfect guy. One of the greatest people I've probably seen in media.
Yeah.
This young kid who's just like very genuine, very nice. But I feel when you come across people like that are a little bit too perfect, usually they have the biggest demons.
Of course.
It's a real red flag.
Someone's too perfect, something's going on.
Yeah, they're doing something that you can't even imagine. Which is... Yeah.
Scary world.
It is
funny times, 2022.
I know.
13 billion years.
What are we looking at? Oh, dang. We've probably been going for almost 2 hours.
Yeah, we got Elon about to come through.
He didn't come. He's actually coming through now.
Yeah, he's coming a bit late.
Hey, what did we do? We did probably like 30 minutes, and then I started an official recording. We're at an hour 40 now.
The lost tapes will come out eventually.
I know, the lost tapes, those ones with the wrestlers, I think it was all over the place with the audio. This has been like a clean hour 40.
Crispy.
This has been a crispy one.
Crispy.
I want to go grab a feed if you're down as well. I don't know if you've got
possibly,
stuff. Yeah, getting a feed.
We'll wrap it.
But yeah,
GG's.
I guess.
Yeah, GG, good game, boys.
Yeah. I know it's a good game. We could go on, but I feel we kind of have to.
Hours.
We could go for hours, but I feel we
time.
We may have to cut it.
Yeah. 100%.
Just capture what we got. But dang, it's been the Drinkwater podcast.
100%, boys. I'll say thank you for having me on. Thank you for being
legendary. This was great. We went from the sun shining right into our faces to the dark, the darkness. You can see the light pick up and change.
We're still going strong. He's still holding the
Now Thomas Edison's light will keep us going.
I know the Thomas Edison light.
Too deep into
we're not going to look. Anyway, peace.
See ya. Oh, solid boys.
Oh,
heavy.
That was a great one.
It was a great chat, eh?
That was a great one.
That's historical.
Yeah.